Coach Lester, if you want to open it with a few statements, and then we can take the questions.
Yeah, I was, coming back watching the film. I was obviously happy to get a road win. A lot of good things happened. A lot of things we can work on, But I thought we handled the win fairly well. That was one of the things going into the game. It was howling out there, so we knew it was going to be definitely an interesting game when it came to kicking off. And we did kick 2 out of bounds. We got to be better there. But I think we handled it well. We hung in there, played tough against a good team. We knew it was going to be a close game. But there's definitely bright spots on both sides and a lot we got to work on. But, came out with a victory, road win against the defending MAC East champions, as soon as the game was over, we were excited. Couldn't wait to watch the film and learn from it. And then on to the MAC champions this week. So it's been a great week. So it's been fun, exciting. I know the guys are excited to play in Waldo, and so it's been a good week so far.
Thanks for taking time to talk with us, Tim. This is a Ball State team that brings back a lot of experience from last year. Probably don't have a ton of fond memories from that game.
No.
Have you watched much of that film to kind of prepare for this? And if so, I guess what have you seen, looking back at that?
Yeah, it's unique. For some reason, it feels like it was yesterday we played them, because it was late last year. And there are a lot of the same guys back. That was a game that I thought we played at least the first 3 quarters defensively. We played pretty solid, a couple plays got us, and we got to prevent that from happening, obviously. Offensively, we controlled the clock. We moved the ball. We had it for 37 minutes, something like that, and we couldn't finish in the red zone. And I think we're going into that game, we were 19 of 19 in the red zone in our short COVID year. And then that day we went 3 of 6, So we got to finish drives. But it'll be another challenge game. It's always been close. The last 3 years have been barn burners against this team because they're well coached. Coach New does a great job, and they play hard. They don't quit. They're sound in everything they do. The quarterback's efficient. He runs the ball just enough, can throw it, and and their O-line's playing well. So yeah, there's a lot to learn as far as what they're going to try to do to different things. They've obviously put some things in the off season that are some new wrinkles, as did we. But. There's a lot of carryover. There's a lot you can learn. This is really the first team we've played that we included last year's game in the cut-up, so we can watch our exact plays against what they do and what we did well and what we didn't do well, and that's and they're going to be able to do the same thing. But it definitely is a great experience or learning experience opportunity for our players to watch that.
Red zone issues popped up last week against Buffalo. I think the broadcast mentioned that you guys maybe kind of shuffle some play calling duties once you get down in the red zone. Can you talk about, the team's approach to handling red zone play calling?
Yeah, I don't think it's a play calling issue. I think it's more of an execution issue, to be honest with you. Because going into the game, we're actually really solid in the red zone. Minus missing field goals. We had stopped one time. We missed 2 field goals. But, a lot of times when you're getting into the red zone, one of the biggest things you're trying to figure out is, as a staff, is what are we going to do? Are we going to get big? Are we going to change personnel? Are we going to stay regular? And you kind of have to make that decision going in. And they did a good job of stopping us. We were going to run it straight down. We were going to try to run it straight down their throats, and they stopped us. So we had to throw it a little bit. We changed our last fourth quarter. We kind of changed our plan in the red zone of how to attack them in the red zone. I think it helped us against that team. So, but we missed some reads. I mean, we did. We had some guys open that Caleb missed, and everything in the red zone happens fast. Becoming a great quarterback in red zone drop back passing takes time. I'm talking years. I would say by my 3rd year, I probably started getting a feel for how fast it moves and how fast that window is going to come and go, and we dropped back and we ran around a little bit too much down there as well. But yeah, so I hop in and call plays here and again. Coach Evans kind of handles the field and 3rd downs, and then Coach Bath handles the red zone. And I don't really, honest to God, I don't think we called anything bad. I think the plan could have been better. I think our execution could have been better. And today was red zone day, so I think our guys are dialed into it, and I like our plan going in, and it just has to be a flexible plan, because if the one plan wasn't working, we got to make some adjustments. It's hard down there when you run out of space. when you're a spacing offense, you run out of space down there. You got to come up with better ideas, and that's what we got to do. And then we got to go out and execute it. We missed some blocks. One in particular would have been a walk-in touchdown, and one guy fell down, and the guy made the tackle on the one, or would have, everyone else did a great job blocking. So we live, we learn. Everyone's got to get better, and we will.
Nick Mahalik made a field goal last week, proving that he can pretty much do everything except hold it.
So true.
I guess how does the kicking battle stand right now?
Yeah, they've been battling this week. As of today, I would say Nick probably has the edge. He's had another good week. He's always been in the mix, and gotten better and better. He's kicking off, he's punting, he's field goals, extra points. So how much can a leg take? So we're just trying to be really smart about how we do that. And if we have to take some kickoffs off of his leg, if he's the one that's going to have the best. Percentage of giving us points when we get down there, and we work really hard to get down there, and we got to come away with points, and Parker did a phenomenal. He was struggling, and he was great on the sideline and supporting Nick, and Nick made obviously a couple extra points and a big field goal to tie the game, which he have ice water running through his veins. He's always been that guy, just got a great demeanor about him, and I was happy for him. I know the guys were fired up, and so as of today, unless something changes by the rest of the week, but they're still competing every day. I feel good about both of them, and but yeah, Nick does everything, and he does it well, and that kick he made to tie it was huge, and gave us a lot of confidence to score 17 in the fourth.
Is his range to the point where you feel comfortable? Using him around 40 or even beyond that?
Yeah. Him and Parker is the same. They both have good range. I wouldn't say great range. Tiago's more of the guy that has the huge range if we had gotten a situation like that. He's been banged up since week 1, so we haven't even traveled in the last couple weeks as he's dealing with the leg injury. But he's almost back, and then that could give us some opportunities for long field goals. But both those guys have about the same range. It's not too much different than we've had in the past as far as getting to 40, 45. I trust those guys. If we got into the 50s, we'd have a decision to make. Petty's in there too. He's another one that has a big leg. So we normally let them compete all week and then kind of make the decision towards Friday of how we're gonna play and what the yard lines are going to be. And then you got to see the win, because the win was. That was a 10-yard difference as a coach. One way I had to get to the 20 to kick one, and the other way I could get to the 30 and kick one. Actually, the 30 was this way, 20 was that way, and which changes when you're play calling. When you're in field goal range. It's different on each end when you have a wind of 18 miles an hour and it's due one direction. It was due. I don't know what direction that was, but it was rolling from right to left. So we'll figure that out as the week goes on, and it's just great to have options and have someone else that we could call on with Parker struggling, and Nick came through.
The defense in that Ball State game last year was really banged up. Do you anticipate getting Bryson Garner or A.J. Thomas back this week?
Yeah, A.J.'s practiced all week. A.J. looks great. Bryson has been close. He's been around practice and been running around. He's in great shape. I wouldn't be shocked if he plays. He was right on the edge. We thought he might be an emergency guy last week. Didn't quite get it. A.J. was an emergency guy last week. Didn't play him. So A.J.'s been practicing all week. Looks great. And I'm hoping Bryson, can make it on Saturday. He's played a ton of football. He knows what he's doing. So it'd be huge for us to get those guys back. You talked earlier about watching last year's film, and there's a lot. You forget about all the people that were playing, how bad. I didn't realize that until I watched the film and see some of the guys out there. So I think Fisk will be back, from his isolation. I think that'll happen. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back. So we'll, minus Bustle, there's a chance we'll be at full strength for the first time in a long time.
Coach, you guys are third in the nation in time of possession right now, behind 2 service academies,
Mm-hmm.
Army and Air Force. Is that by design, or is that just happening?
Being efficient is by design, and I got to give our guys a lot of credit. When you're holding the ball that much, you're executing at an unbelievable level. To run a spread offense and to throw it as much as we do, and to still be up that high in time of possession is unique and rare. And kudos to our guys for being able to execute that much, that often. Normally, if you run that many plays, you end up turning the ball over a ton because all it takes is one little thing to go wrong and they got the ball, or the ball's on the ground, or it's tip pick, or whatever it is. So our guys have done a great job. It's really not by design. Obviously, every play is designed to score. And last year, every time number one caught the ball, it ended up being a touchdown in the same. I mean, every time D. Eskridge caught it, it was 50 yards later, we were off the field. So, so yeah, it's not by design. Our goal is to be efficient on offense and to run it and pass it and be balanced. And I think we're doing a really good job of that. We still got to finish drives better, but those numbers are starting to mean something. Now that you're almost halfway through a season, you start looking at numbers. They're finally real. Before it's the first 3 games, people love saying we're number 1 in the country in this or number 2, and you really haven't gotten into you don't have enough numbers to make it a real number. So now that we're getting to the point where we're at, I mean, our guys are doing a great job of running the ball and being efficient and getting first downs, and so it's helped us stay in a lot of games. It helps our defense. It helps our team. We're playing complementary football. That was one of the things we didn't do last year. We did not play complementary. We scored so fast, and we left our defense out there for 80-some plays a game. And right now our defense is playing like 50 plays a game. So it's good to play complementary football and be efficient.
Yeah, that's taken the pressure off the defensive line, and you can leave those guys out there a lot more because they're not taking as many snaps.
Yep, and they're getting 3 and outs. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're doing a great job getting off the field on third down. They're playing great. They're playing. I mean, it's been fun to watch those guys run around and make plays and get turnovers. And I mean, we have more turnovers this year. We were playing 80 plays a game last year, not getting turnovers. They're playing 50 and getting 1, 2 a game, whatever it is. So they are playing at a much higher level, but it's a great complement offense to defense right now, and obviously the more plays you run, the higher percentage chance of scoring. You get more opportunities, you get more swings, at it, and so and the less our defense is out there, the less we have to rotate. I think we have pretty good depth. It's shown. We've had 2, 3, 4 starters out the last 3 weeks, and our defense is still playing great. So we have depth there. For injury purposes, but by design, hopefully they're not having to play 80, 90 plays a game, and it puts us in a good chance to end up winning at the end.
Ball State has one of the most explosive players in the league in Justin Hall. He had a 99-yard kick return last week and one of the top receivers in the conference. How do you defend him?
By committee. You need to have a lot of people around him. He's so good in space. He does a great job. They do a great job of moving around, getting him in the open field, motioning him. They start him in the backfield, so you can't figure out where he's going to deploy until he motion him out of the backfield to wherever they want to put him. And so we're going to have to be sharp, making sure we know where he is. I mean, they have 3 really good receivers. It's probably the best receiving corps since like Plitt, type receiving corps. I mean, really good group, and they know what they're doing over there of how to get you into bunches and get you into FSL bunches and try to strain you so that they can get their guys in some space. So biggest thing is tackling him once he gets the ball, running to the ball. We've been preaching it all year. But that dude, I mean, he scored on, it was 2 bubbles last year. I mean, bubbles. The ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage, and we couldn't get him down, and that's why he's such a good kickoff returner, same thing. So big challenge for our defense to know where he's at and to keep bodies around him. And when the ball's in the air his way, to get as many bodies there as humanly possible, because he has a very high percentage chance of making the first guy miss. And we got to have the second and third guy there quick.
How's Drew Plitt look this year? It sounds like he's missed some time, but looks like he's back in there.
Yeah, he looks healthy. I think that they had a little bit of shuffle in their offensive line. They had some injuries, and the protection wasn't as good as it normally is. Now they're back, from what I understand. I think their O-line will be back to what it was, But, some of the lines, I'm watching kind of saw a snap that was kind of up, and he made a great one-handed catch. It was an impressive catch for a quarterback. And I looked at the center, and it was a different number. And then I looked at their starting center was playing right guard, and so I started doing some research. And so they've been banged up. And one thing as a quarterback, you go as the guys in front of you go. And so he's had some tough times, but he's still Drew Plitt. And so and he got in rhythm last week, throwing the ball all over the place, making plays with his feet like he does. He does such a great job of extending plays, like in the pocket. I call it phase 2. He gets rid of the ball on time, but when it's not there, he does a great job of buying another second or two within a 5 foot by 5 foot radius, or square, and that's why he is who he is. So he's out there, and we got same thing. We got to see can we get to him? Can we create some pressure? If we can't, then we got to cover these guys because he's going to have some time. So it's always an interesting third down dilemma on what you want to do. And number one, we got to stop the run. They've always been a balanced team. I know everyone. Their receivers are talented. Their quarterback's talented. I love their tight end, fullback, number 8. But they're balanced. So we got to make sure we stop the run, and then we got to find a way to cover them too. So it'll be a big challenge. I know the guys are excited about it.
You mentioned your defense having some success on third downs, turnovers. What do you think has been the biggest difference this year to allow that success versus years past?
Well, I think we are. I like our guys. I mean, our guys are doing a great job. We're healthy. But we have changed some of the stuff we do, on the back end. Schematically, not a ton of things, but just a couple. And it actually puts a lot of pressure. We're playing a little bit more man than we used to. And our guys are doing a great job covering. We got some new guys out there. Delano's doing a great job. TC, no one got to see last year. He's out there. D-Jack's out there. So we got some new guys, and we're healthy, and I think we're getting to the quarterback at a better clip. It's great to have our linebackers healthy and all our D-line healthy because that's, there's nothing better for a secondary than have someone in the quarterback's face. That interception Seelig had where the guy from San Jose threw it right in his gut, because he had people in his face. So it's interesting on defense how those things all tie together, and when the back end's covering, I keep telling them, be ready to cover for 4 seconds. You might need to cover for 4 seconds. Right now, we've been getting home in 2.5, which makes a DB. I think I could play DB sometimes. If I played off enough for 2 seconds, I got a shot. So it's the combination of all things. When we drop 8 sometimes, we drop 7, then we bring the house and keep 5 in coverage, 6 in coverage. So that's the other thing that they're great at. I mean, they are. The word I use is sporty. They're sporty on third down. Much like Plitt. I mean, they're good. They bring some stuff. It's coming. Their defense has done a phenomenal job, but on third down, they're good. And they make you think, and they're going to come and try to get to him. And they will drop people, but they like to come. They like to bring it. And so it'll be a third down. Today was third down red zone day. So today was a big day for us, considering where we're at on third down, what they do on third down, and just being good in the red zone and getting stops. So today was a big day of practice, and we had a great practice. And so hopefully we got a lot of confidence as we build an opportunity to play on Saturday against a good team.
Skyy Moore had another big performance. Now 3 consecutive games with at least 10 catches, 100 yards. Now a MAC Player of the Week. What did you like of his performance, and how do you keep him going?
Well, it is by design, but it's not. I mean, that position in our offense, we can move. It's a very flexible position that we move around a lot. I mean, it's what everyone played. Any receiver, like all these blockers, like they all played that position. You know what I mean? And that's what D played. That's what Jennings played. Corey played. Steve Neal was my ex-receiver. Jordan White played it. I mean, it's a fun position to play, and you got to be able to do everything. You got to be able to be physical and run when you got press man. You got to be able to play in the slot. You got to play the field, the boundary, and so you're going to get a lot of good opportunity. And he's taking advantage of that. I mean, he did what he did this weekend, and he dropped one. That's all that he remembers is that one, because that kid shows up since the moment he got here as a freshman. He shows up and works. He just has such a great. He's a competitor, and he has a great amount of discipline daily. On what he's out there to accomplish. And he has not changed one bit since he's getting some accolades now, which is great. He just wants to continue to get better at all the little things he's doing. So it's been that stop and go route he ran was pretty of a route, stutter go, whatever you want to call it. It was beautiful. And we've been setting that thing up, and he ran a beautiful route, and Caleb put it on him, and that was a big play in the game, confidence-wise, I think, for us as offensively. And so it's great to have a guy that can do that. I think Crooms is playing great. They made it really hard for us to get the ball out there to the Z's this week, so they didn't have as many catches. But that's what we pride ourselves on. We're gonna find what they give us. I have faith in all our receivers, and we're gonna read the coverage. And no different than the start of the third quarter against Pitt when Caleb was getting an IV. So Jack went in and went 3 for 3 and ran the offense and did what he's supposed to do. and that's kind of the system we believe in, and it's fun to watch it come to fruition and watch guys like Crooms and Skyy really have great years, and when it's the day for the Z's to have a big day, they will, and we have confidence in that, and the defense will dictate where we attack.
Obviously, with Nick Mahalik going in, kicking last week, that also changes your holder. Who is that's doing the holding?
Sambucci, Anthony Sambucci. We started working with him. Was it last year? Kind of as a backup, just in case. He was going to be a 3 last year, and he did a great job. I mean, he's one of our receivers. He's a backup receiver. Played a little bit last year. Has played a little bit more and more this year, and has great hands. Obviously, can put it down, and has really become a really good holder. I'm really hard on the holders. I coach holders because I was a holder. I love holding, and so I'm hard on them, and he's really in the last 3 weeks, I really feel like he's kind of come along as far as just being exact and detailed in what he does. I mean, you have an important job. You're putting the ball down. You got to put it down in the right spot, in the right angle, with the right tilt. Everything's got to be right, and you got to do it in about 0.2 seconds. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, And so all the comp really in the last 3 weeks, I would have been nervous if we would have had to do this before the last 3 weeks. But really, the last 3 weeks, I watch him every day. He's really kind of got into a groove, and he went out there. I'm sure he's a little nervous, did a great job.
And then your running attack gained over 200 yards against Buffalo. It's been having a lot of success this year. Is there anything on Ball State that worries you, or how do you keep that going against Ball State?
There's a lot of things about Ball State that worry me. They got a lot of good players back, big, physical up front. We ran the ball fairly decently against them last year, but we had to earn it. I mean, it was a physical game last year. So, we're going to do what we do. We're going to try to be balanced. If they decide to load the box, we might throw it more than we normally do. If they play more coverage, they go back and forth between base and nickel. Groupings, I guess you could say, or personnels, and so depending on where they put their 7th defender and 8th defender, we'll make decisions on that. But I think we got some really good backs, and the more touches they get, the more plays they get, the more comfortable they get. They can wear people down as the game goes on. And that's why I kept telling them. I knew. Last week playing the MAC East champions, that the one thing you learn about when you're playing a champion, and we're playing another one this week, is they have pride. They're not going to just roll over. You're going to have to keep swinging and keep swinging and keep swinging. I really felt midway through the fourth quarter, we really got our run game going. It went from 4-yard gains to 8-yard gains, and we just kept leaning and leaning and leaning. And you have to trust it because it might take 50 minutes to get it done. And same way this week, even if we get a couple little success running the ball early, that they're not. I mean, what they just did to Army, that's a running team now, and they were getting cut and they were flying around. I just looked at it. It doesn't really help us at all, watching that film, but I kind of want to see who started the game, who finished the game, how they played, and man, they played hard. They played a great game against a really good offense, and so. It's going to be another physical game, and they're not. They're a championship team, so it's going to be. We're going to have to run it and find a way to run it, and then pick our passes when they come, and just kind of do what we do, and be more efficient in the red zone, and that's something that we've been. Or really just finishing drives, because field goals aren't terrible. We just got to finish the drive with a field goal, and we feel great about all drives but one when we got stuck at the one, which would have been the first time all year. So. So that's why everything's all tied together, and so we have a lot of confidence after the last 2 days of work, and now we'll try to get their bodies feeling great on Thursday and Friday and be ready for Saturday afternoon.
Appreciate you taking the time out, Coach. I know you're a busy guy, so I've just got 2 more quick questions for you. We were just talking about Skyy Moore. He's really emerged on offense. Is there a guy for you and your staff that has really emerged on defense who's really proving himself this year, who maybe was a little bit quieter last year?
Yeah, I would probably say Zaire Barnes. It's something that everyone's seeing now. He's been playing for a couple of years. He blew his knee out last year, so no one saw him. But even before that, he was a good player. I don't know if he was a wow. We always knew he could be. At some point, it's all going to click, and he's going to go from a really solid football player to a, oh my Lord, every time there's a fumble, he's on it. He's causing tackles for losses. He's all over the place. What he did in the Pitt game was unbelievable, what he did. kind of going with Corvin moment. Everyone knows Corvin, and Corvin plays at a really high level, and I think Zaire is kind of stands out right now that people are watching him. He's big, long, can run. He was a high school running back that we recruited, and watching him take advantage. And he appreciates it because he just went 12 months of not playing football and having to watch us. So he's not taking anything for granted. Bumps, bruises, doesn't matter. He's playing, So it's been fun to watch him. There's others too, but he's probably the one defensively that has really stood out to me in the first couple weeks.
He seems to really be around the ball a lot. He's a true
lot.
ball hawk. So
yeah.
My last question, with last year and this year, there's been a lot of different, what I would call distractions, for a lack of a better term. We've had some stuff going on in the last couple of weeks. I've been really impressed by your group's focus. They just seem to be laser focused, whether it be COVID or injuries or a loss against Michigan, or you had the high emotional win, you're out with COVID, then you've got a typical letdown game against San Jose State. They looked awesome. Is there a message you and the staff are instilling upon these guys to just go to work every day?
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 different messages. The main one is we always talk about keeping the main thing the main thing. The main thing for us is winning the 4th championship in school history. We're team 116, so we put together 116 teams here at Western Michigan, and 3 have won championships. We average 1 every 24 years. We're trying to do it 5 years after we won the last one, so we're gonna have to do something that no one's done. And so we talk about 4 all the time. Trying to just keep understanding the big picture and keeping your eyes on it, and keeping the main thing is, all the little things like the COVID and the COVID testing and 6 days a week getting something shoved up your nose, and the heat of the Pitt game, and the emotional win to having to come back and play the Mountain West champions. And, we just keep our eyes at that level, because I think you kind of step over a lot of the potential stumbling blocks because we're so focused in on one thing, and believe it or not, the third thing that I've preached that I stole off Football Scoop, it was a Kirby Smart, talking about Georgia, and they're talking about setting your sights on something, every week, and I talked to them about, when the military is setting their sights on a plane's going from point A to point B, and if they're 1 degree off, then when they land, they're 60 miles off target, And so we've talked a lot about during the week, we can't be 1 degree off today on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, or we're going to be 60 miles off on Saturday of what we want to be. So that's kind of what we've just focused on. A lot of times you do focus on the little things within your program, and we talk about the little things, but the main focus, the main thing is the main thing. And I think that's helped us through some of the adversity that's gone on. Because we're on a mission, and we're working on it. There's going to be ups and downs. I don't know when they're going to be, but we're definitely keeping our eyes on 4.
Thanks, Coach. One last quick one. It's the first home MAC game in front of fans here in a long time.
It's been a long. Shoot.
So, what are you kind of looking forward to? What do you need to see from Bronco fans Saturday, and how can they kind of make it really difficult for Ball State?
Oh, the energy in our stadium is fantastic. I mean, Waldo is a place that gives us an advantage. When the fans come out and they're going nuts, our guys play better, and other teams struggle to play. So hopefully they'll come out and support us. I know the guys have been working hard and getting to the point where people are recognizing some of the things they're doing, and they don't matter right now, but hopefully we can continue to play a good brand of football that we've been playing, and something that's be fun to watch for the city, and to play a MAC game. I mean, shoot, it's been a MAC West game. We're finally in the West again. It's been a long time, and MAC West games are battles. 8 of our last 10 MAC West games have come down to the last possession. Only 2 in the last 2 years. That's 10 games. 8 of 10 have come down to the last possession or the last couple minutes of the game. So we know what's coming. And MAC East games are probably the same. I didn't do that study. If you prove like Buffalo came down to the last possession again, but yeah, this is going to be a game where everyone knows each other, and they're going to have a good plan. We're going to have a good plan. We're going to have to change our plan. They're going to change their plan, and all the while our kids are going to have to play physical football. So it's going to be exciting. Hopefully, it'll be great to watch for the fans, and every person that comes in that we get a little bit of energy from will help our team, and it's great to have them at home. So it'll be hopefully a challenge for them to deal with our fans, and hopefully our team can put together a challenge for them on the field.